Welcome back to another range day of shooting weapons and pistols and firearms. But today, we have HiPoint JPX 10 mil. I think that's what it is, yep. It's a new JXP 10 mil. So, yeah. I know you wonder why. Because I can, right? So this is part 2 of a video that I shot with this HiPoint, and I had some issues, so I'm wearing a glove, you know. Shooting some of this SIG Elite Performance. What we got in there? This one. 180 grain. Alright. So far so good. Round mag. It's kind of like a 1911 style magazine, if you will, but yeah, the last time I was here, there's a few things that I just didn't like, and I had to get a feel for it. Now I have a feel for it, so now I want to see if there's anything to complain about. So there's no magazine release or slide release, excuse me, on this. It's definitely a magazine release, but there's no slide release, so you just gotta, you know, slingshot it back and hope for the best, right? So if you go back and see my first video, I was having a problem with that for it to go in the battery all the way. Now I know what that's about. My fault. I'm riding the slide. I was riding the slide, which caused that malfunction. I'm gonna make sure I get underneath the slide. So that was my fault. That was my fault. So that second jam malfunction wasn't my fault, but it worked itself out after that. Still, magazine doesn't drop free. So then I flinched, as we all saw, right? So waiting for my next shot, and you know, of course, I flinched. Nothing happened. So a big thing about this, the HiPoint, is that it's a big slide that rides back, and it feels like it takes a couple of seconds to go back in the battery. And I was trying to, you know, squeeze the trigger again before it went back in the battery all the way, and it didn't go off because the trigger didn't reset yet. So yeah, it happens. But I can definitely tell you, shooting a gun like this compared to any modern firearm, it's a lot to, the difference in the feel, the weight, the recoil. It's definitely different. Clear. I don't know. My first video, I didn't really have that many malfunctions after I stopped riding the slide. But this one here, second round, it seems to have some malfunctions. That last one, the empty round, spent shell, was kind of pushed up forward, so it wasn't like, I don't know if the extractor didn't grab onto it well enough. Like I said, I'm not going to talk negative about this pistol because it's a high point for under $200. You expect to get what you pay for. So I'm not going to complain. I like to actually learn firearms and figure out, what causes malfunctions and if I can fix the problem myself. And I want to make sure that it's not the gun. If it's me, then it's me. Yes. So we try to go here. That works. Try to make sure it's a 10 mil, right? So you can imagine it's going to be snappy and jumpy, right? To try to control that 10 mil is, it's not the easiest to do. Maybe in a carbine, a pistol is a little bit different. That's a lot of people shoot either 9 mil, it's most popular around because you can control it better. And with this thick, tall slide and that it is, and it's a blowback design firearm, that's a lot of weight that's coming back, and it's just kicking all that weight back. In the future, I'm going to do another video, and this is part 2, right? I'm going to do another video. I'm going to purchase a compensator and see if that's going to kind of help out to relieve some of that recoil, because maybe some of the malfunctions is the lip wristing, or I'm not putting enough pressure forward, and it's causing it to, a little extra recoil and flip. It's probably, not allowing the slide to go all the way back to extract and eject that round, the spent round, and to close and load another one. So I'm going to try to work on that and see if that will help out. See, I flinched again at first, of course, right? It's a 10 mil, so you try to get some pressure onto it. But yeah, I felt like the slide closed all the way, and I went to go pull the trigger. Now, if I'm riding the trigger, that might be my problem. That I'm not allowing the trigger to go all the way to the front, because when it resets all the way back to the front. I'm not allowing that trigger to reset all the way to the front, and I'm pulling the trigger before that slide goes all the way in the battery. So that may be the issue. Plus I got a glove on, so maybe I'm not feeling the trigger as sensitive as I should. So so I got to make sure that trigger goes all the way forward, and making sure that slide goes all the way into battery and closes all the way before I decide to pull the trigger again. So I'm learning, I'm understanding, you know, it's not the gun, it's the shooter. They say that the firearm is more accurate than the shooter, so, you know, I'm not going to hate on the gun because it works. There are some things I just don't like about it, but like I said, you get what you pay for. But biggest thing, like I say, my number one thing, as long as a firearm or what I purchased, as long as it can do the job. So as long as this can fire and cycle and have no malfunctions, I'll say it's a-okay. But I'm trying to work out the little failure to eject, trying to make sure, like, is that the gun or is it me? And I believe that was me. Like you said, 10 mil, it's got a lot of recoil. It's going to jump back at you. And with this thick slide, and it's a heavy, bulky slide, it's pulling back a lot of weight. All this weight goes back, is going to hit you. And it's a blowback design, so it's going to use all that pressure and it's just throwing it back. So, you know, makes it a little extra jumpy, and it's not compensated, which it will be the next time I shoot it. And we'll see that there's a difference. All right, this is my last, let me see if I can put this last one in here. There you go. It's my last 10 rounds. So, I said this in my last video. I don't like it because it came with one 10-round magazine. I hate it when they give you a gun that's a cheap price, and then they want to hit you with a one magazine that comes with it. So then I looked on, looked online. They're selling these for like $20, $22. I'm like, yeah. It was like under a $200 gun, and I got to spend like $20 with being paid tax and shipping. You're like at $26, $28 for one magazine. So yeah, you got to buy about 4 or 5 of them, but now you're over $100. And I'm like, I'm gonna just buy another pistol. Just, so that's how they get you. Remember that, kids. Well, not kids, because kids are not watching this, but ladies and gentlemen. This is only for the grown. All right, last 10 rounds. I'm gonna still shoot, slow and smooth, and just trying to make sure that the malfunctions were most likely me, with the limp wristing, and and not pushing out, putting pressure back on it. So, and make sure the trigger resets all the way. Make sure the slide goes all the way into battery. So this should be flawless. Hey, like, I mean, y'all be the judge of that. I can't really see feel the recoil. I'm just trying to press out, push out, Like, it could be me. I could be limp wristing it, man. And it's doing pretty much the same thing every single time, right? So I'm trying to be like a catcher. When the catcher comes in there, it's a little out the strike zone, and he grabs it, pulls it back in real quick to make it feel like it's in the strike zone. So that's what I try to do with my recoil when I shoot and it flips. I try to like get back on target so it looks like it doesn't flip up a lot. I feel all that pressure. I feel all that recoil. I feel all that jump back, and it just doesn't feel good. And like I said, I don't shoot a lot of 10 mil, granted, right? So, this is a pretty fat grip. The weight doesn't bother me. I would assume the weight would help you out, but if all the weight is up top, it's not going to really help you out because it's going to throw all that weight and back at you. So the reason why, you see my first video, the corners of this grip right here, grip panel, it was tearing my knuckles up on the side. So I felt better just to grab a glove and just to shoot. Feels much better, So the things I noticed, I guess, my second time shooting, and I'll do one more video with the compensator on, is one, it's a 10 mil. No matter how heavy the gun is, you're gonna have blowback, you're gonna have a recoil, it's gonna jump back. So that's one. This gun is top heavy. So you gotta slide up top. I can only get my hand far, and you get all this slide sitting up. It's just gonna go back and just kick. So the trigger is a good, you have a solid wall and then it breaks. It's a pretty stiff wall, but it breaks clean. The reset is automatic front. That slide it feels slow to go back and go back to the battery. And I'm quick to want to pull the trigger, which those two flinches I did when I pulled the trigger off is because I didn't let the trigger reset all the way, and I didn't let the slide go back in the battery all the way. So that was my problem. But it's slow. Like most guns, you could just tap, 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 back to back to back, no problem. Like I said, it's a long reset all the way to the front. The slide is slow to go all the way back in the battery. And yeah, but the trigger pull is nice. It's a stiff wall. It's more than 5 pounds. It might be 6, 6.5, close to 7. I don't know, but it's a stiff wall, but then it breaks clean. Doesn't really travel very much. The grip panels are nice. Everything else I'm okay with. So now these serrations, as you see, so it has a little slant up. It goes maybe a quarter of the way, then it slants up. Those serrations up here, you cannot get a grip on those. Because it's at an angle. The only grip you get is the ones right here. And if you grip those, if you grip those, it works. But if you try to grip the top, it's very slippery and it's at an angle, so you're only getting your grip from the bottom where it's flat, and up top you're not really getting the grip. It kind of helps you out maybe 10%, but really all your grip. So I think all the extra up here is just basically a design to make it look nice or cool or whatever. The slide is super tall, so when you think the slide stops here, it doesn't. There's a whole nother piece down here so it takes up the whole frame. So when I was riding the slide in my last video, and you're gonna get like down here, you get a little piece down here to rest your thumb on. That's if you do that. Some people might not ride, rest your thumb, but that's all you have. So it takes the whole frame up. It's a bulky gun. It's a heavy gun, not crazy heavy compared to some 1911s or whatever. 10 round magazine. I don't know. It shoots okay when it isn't a little alien gun like, oh man, what is this? But that slide is that weight coming back. You feel it go backwards and forward. It's a weird feeling. Like I tell you, you don't feel it in most guns, but this here you do. So I got a couple of the 10 mil pistols. I'll bring out and shoot those too, and not to compare, but just to, more or less to feel. And I know I'm not going to feel that slide, all that weight coming back. So yeah, so another one that was 50 rounds out of here. I know people say, well, that's a lot of failure to eject, a lot of hiccups. And, hey, like I said, I only shot 100 rounds out of this so far. And, I haven't looked to see if there's a break-in period, but if it is, we'll find out. I'll come out with another, part 3 with the compensator, and we'll see if it shoots better, if it's work out those problems. Yeah, so like I said, if you like, comment, subscribe, notification bell, so you know when I'm putting up a new video out. And like I said, just keep watching. I'm gonna keep throwing videos out as long as you'll see me here. See you next time.